Too many students today encounter the Middle East through a distorted lens, ideologically driven scholarship, assigned by biased faculty, and social media distortions that flatten, cheapen, and in too many cases simply misrepresent the truth. We can't let that happen. The stakes are too high. The U.S.-Israel relationship, the stability of the region, and the long arc of American foreign policy all depend on the emergence of a rising generation of leaders, statesmen, policymakers, analysts, and scholars who actually understand the Middle East, not only the European origins of that geographic term, but also its history, its political figures, its thinkers, its regimes, its strategic concepts, its security postures, its revolutionary movements, and its religious devotions. The National Middle East History Competition is Tikvah's answer to that challenge. We assembled a reading list of authoritative texts chosen for their scholarly rigor and comprehensive coverage, and we've partnered with the Alexander Hamilton Society, a national organization dedicated to educating students on American foreign policy and grand strategy. Together, we hosted this competition, guided by two of the foremost Middle East analysts in the country, Michael Duran and Zineb Rabua of the Hudson Institute. Where did this idea come from? Well, in 1958, 10 years after the founding of the State of Israel, David Ben-Gurion found himself leading a country composed of intermingled diaspora communities, each with their own language and their own origin story. Ben-Gurion conceived of a movement of national cohesion to be achieved through a campaign of biblical literacy. The centerpiece of that campaign was Chidon HaTanach, the International Bible Contest, a high-profile competition broadcast on Israel's 10th Independence Day, on the same radio network that a decade earlier had transmitted Israel's Declaration of Independence to the world. Now, the use of trivia as a means to promote textual mastery was controversial. Critics argued it discouraged genuine literacy in favor of rote memorization. But Chidon HaTanach sparked a generational pursuit of knowledge among Jews and especially among young people far beyond Israel's borders. It's still broadcast annually. It still generates excitement. And it still produces readers who've dedicated their energy and their industry to learning Bible. That is the tradition that we're drawing on here. Our goal in filming this competition and sharing it with you is to celebrate outstanding young scholars and to encourage you, whatever your background, to pick up these texts, read them seriously, and test your own understanding of the Middle East. In a region this consequential, the capacity for genuine leadership begins with history. Congratulations to this year's winners, and to everyone watching, we hope you'll join us in the next competition. You can learn more and register at tikvah.org/competition.
My name's Annabelle Worley. I'm from Charleston, Illinois, and I go to college at the University of Notre Dame. I participated in the Hertog Political Studies program. It definitely helped spark my interest in the topic, early Ottoman Empire, and the scholarship among Jewish, Christian, Muslim communities, and the dialogue between them is something that I found really fascinating to read about, and I'd like to explore more. Spending time to focus on history and devoting attention to things which might not fit our neatly furnished narratives can be a really helpful guide to approaching contemporary challenges in a more prudent manner.
I'm Ian Harris. I'm from Rutgers, New Brunswick. I'm involved in the Israel Dialogue Table at Rutgers. All of the people from the Dialogue Table registered for the test, and I got through to the final 8. Biography of Jerusalem by Simon Sebag Montefiore. I'd wanted to read it for a while. I find him a very interesting sort of pop historian, and it's very cool that he is related to the man who built the new city of Jerusalem outside of sort of the old city of Jerusalem and East Jerusalem. I think a lot of people on campus around the world have a lot of very strong feelings about the history of the Middle East without having done reading, and so having this competition that's focused on actually reading books, answering questions about the books is very important.
I'm Isaac Mansell. I'm from Toronto, and I go to Harvard. Well, I've been meaning to read these books for a while, and one thing led to another, and I said, this would be cool. Both Jerusalem and also the Arabs. Those were both, I think, fantastic books. I've never read a biography of a city before, and I found it to be just a really interesting concept, sort of to tell the history of a city and sort of viewing it sort of a revolving door, seeing everything that comes in and comes out. It was a super interesting book to read and super interesting way to write a book as well. So it's been very fun to hang out with other people who've been studying the same texts and hopefully see where it goes from here.
My name is Joshua Danziger. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I go to Yale University. I've been waiting a long time to hear the questions that are going to be asked today. I've always had an interest in the Middle East, religiously, politically, and to be able to engage in conversations about the Middle East today, it's important to understand the history of the region. I had never encountered the history of the early Muslim caliphates, the Rashidun Caliphate, the Umayyad Caliphate, the Abbasid Caliphate. I was interested to see how different Muslim tribes were fighting for control of the different regions of the Middle East. I didn't realize there could be such divisions within one religion based on ethnic or tribal identities. And this competition is important because it encourages students to learn the basics of Middle Eastern history so that they can engage better in the contemporary political conversations.
My name is Matthew Minsk. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I attend Yeshiva University. I'm affiliated with a number of both Tikvah, Alexander Hamilton Society, and partner organizations. I'm the chapter president of the Alexander Hamilton Society chapter at YU. I thought I was pretty educated, right, on Israel history, Middle Eastern history more broadly, and I knew some stuff, but I've become a lot more, there's a lot more background, and definitely it's shaped how I've thought about early Zionism, for example. I knew the difference between revisionists versus the labor Zionists and different kind of fights between them in the mandatory period, but I now have a greater appreciation for that.
My name is Mazda Reyes. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I go to Columbia University. I'm excited to see how well I perform. I really have no idea how I'll do, but I've been studying a lot. It's the Arabs. It was really well written. It had a really wide scope, so it was really entertaining to read. I had a lot of fun reading it. I really had no idea about the Ottomans beforehand, but I've been reading more about them, and I definitely want to learn more about them. With so many things going on in the Middle East, in order to make smart, informed decisions and analysis about what's going to happen, we need to understand the past. And so we can't do that unless we undergo rigorous amount of studying. And so reading books is part of that. And so this competition encourages us to read and to learn more about this region. So even if we go away with nothing, we go away with knowledge, and that'll help us in our lives.
I'm Patrick McDonald. I am from Mashpee, Massachusetts, which is on Cape Cod, and I go to school at Hillsdale College. It's been a very long process of studying the books, but it's been totally by myself. So I'm looking forward to conversations with other people about the subjects we've all studied, and then watching how they tackle some of the questions that we get shown. Jerusalem, the biography, may be the best nonfiction book I've ever read. It was so well researched and very readable despite being very long. I don't know much about his background, but there's just a lot of humor in it. He has an eye for striking details that make whatever episode he's describing fun to read about. So really well-written, well-researched book. I'd always wanted to read about Middle East history in the last couple centuries because obviously it's very relevant to the modern day. I didn't have much of an inclination to read about, for instance, the Mamluks or history in the Levant prior to 1800, but reading various accounts of it sort of brought it to life for me. This subject is one where a lot of people have very strong opinions, but have not studied a ton. And so there's a lot of uninformed but very loud opinions in the climate. And regardless of whether studying the historical period causes those opinions to change one way or another, it's at least going to make them more informed. And I think that's going to be good for everyone.
I'm Shiv Parihar. I'm a sophomore at Claremont McKenna College in Southern California, but I'm originally from Salt Lake City, Utah, which I'd consider my hometown. I think I'm most excited to test my knowledge of the Middle East. I learned a lot about coups in Iraq and Syria that I really hadn't been aware of. So like the 1958 Iraqi Revolution against Faisal II, and like the 1963 Syrian coup that ended the United Arab Republic. I also learned a lot about medieval era history of the Middle East. There's maybe a blind spot from like the year 1000 to the year like 1600 broadly, and I was able to fold lots of that in and learn like interesting things about Crusades, for instance. It's more important than ever that people like study history in serious ways through serious texts. History is increasingly forgotten in society. I mean, we've sort of really been consumed by like a throwaway culture where everything is about the moment and what you're doing in the moment, and that also means you only care what's happening in the moment and not the context that brought us here. But I mean, everything we're doing right now is the result of countless paths taken in the past that sort of brought us to this moment.
Is that good with everyone? Cool.
B. It marks the direction of Mecca, guiding Muslims in their prayers.
Story, not the history, about the historiography of
And
it.
it's really just like the opinion of like one of the authors.
C.
That is correct.
A.
That is correct.
C is correct. B as in delta is incorrect. Okay.
B. Correct. At first, Patrick and Annabelle were in a commanding lead, and it looks like they were just going to run away with it.
I mean, I think it went well. It was really close.
It was pretty wild.
Then Matthew and Joshua started coming back.
There was a moment at which it was 10, 9, 10, 9.
It was neck and neck almost the whole time. So the four of us were, I don't think there was ever a gap of more than 2, maybe 3 between us. And then it went right down to the end with some extra questions to break some ties.
So it really was anyone's game for most of it. I think all of us did really well. Then there was a tiebreaker. I was up against Matthew and happened to get lucky on that question and ended up advancing.
I was mostly just freaking out every time it came around to my question and then hyper-focusing during that moment. And then sometimes the next 3 questions would go by and I would hardly recognize that they were even being asked, and then all of a sudden it'd be my turn again. So basically my brain was kicking into and then out of action whenever it was needed.
We got into a tiebreaker round between Annabelle and Matthew.
It only lasted 1 question, so as soon as I saw it, I knew that it was an easy one.
We had one, Ian, who was way in the lead, and in fact clinched it way earlier than I noticed.
I had an 11 question streak of not getting anything wrong, and by the time I started getting things wrong, I was already kind of mathematically through the next round, so couldn't have gone better. And then there was a 3-way overtime round that I got to watch.
We had a 3-way tie, so we have to eliminate 2 out of the 3 through the tiebreakers.
I was more stressed at that point for everyone else and to see who would get out with the second of that group than I was for answering my final few questions.
It was tight. I think that Isaac dropped first, and we were left with Shiv and Maza.
I've gotten to know them and I start to understand their personalities a bit more, and I was hoping they all would somehow do well. Just I was very stressed watching it and then got more stressed, and I hope that this round I don't have to do any sort of overtime or tiebreaker rounds because it seems very stressful.
One contestant, Shiv, who looked a little sad.
I answered a question wrong about the depopulation of Ramle. I just sort of assumed that at that point I was out. It was gone because I assumed that it was over.
He was falling behind, and it looked like he wasn't gonna be contender.
I'm surprised I made it this far. Honestly, at the beginning of the last round, I think I was in last place until question 15.
And then what do you know? He started getting ones while the others were missing, getting ones while the other was missing.
And then I shocked myself by catching up and then making second place. There was a 6-question, I think, tiebreaker round.
We exhausted all the questions that we had prepared for the tiebreaker round, and we had to do a consultation. Where do we get the questions to actually eliminate one of these guys?
I was surprised, but I'm glad I made it. I'm really honored and humbled to be here.
So we ended up with Ian and Shiv advancing from this elimination room. You never know.
Yeah, no, you never know. Anyone could win. Like we said, it's a game of runs.
Shiv has faced adversity and has had that feeling like, I'm out of it.
Yeah, Annabelle, like I said, she was in the game the whole time. She seemed really composed. She kind of lost it a little bit in the middle and made it close. But when it comes down to it, I think Annabelle has a really good shot here.
Patrick did really great in our room. I've heard Ian did really great in the other room.
I bet's on Ian. I'm kind of rooting for Ian too.
The safe money at this point for those bettors out there would be a final round between Patrick and Ian. But you never know.
Honestly, my biggest impression after round 1 is this is truly anyone's game, where we all know a lot, and it will come down to the specific questions asked to specific people. And I think the exciting part is it will come down to facts we don't know, but maybe can imply based on other stuff we know. So it really is a thinking game as opposed to just memorize a long list.
I think I'm gonna win.
Mike, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you. My favorite topic is Ottoman history. I find them very fascinating because I think it's an understudied aspect of the Middle East. I'm excited about this contest because it's a great opportunity to get young people interested in reading, encourage them to think past slogans about the Middle East, especially on today's campuses. The whole discussion of the Middle East is highly ideological. This is an effort to encourage people to actually learn some facts, learn some history, develop some nuance, and develop some of their own ideas. This is all positive positive things. I have a long and deep relationship with the Middle East, and I'm interested in all of the elements that they're studying, including the Ottomans, including the modern history of Israel. So I'll just be curious to see how they deal with all of these topics.
I'm Sina Breboa. I'm originally from Morocco, and I came to the United States a few years ago as a student at Georgetown University, and now I'm working at the Hudson Institute Center for Peace and Security in the Middle East. I am a friend of Tikvah, and I've been participating in a lot of their programs, also facilitating a lot of the work. I'm always an enthusiast of new ideas and new initiatives, and so naturally I thought, I'd love to participate in the first tournament. I love working with Mark. I know exactly how he thinks, and he knows exactly how I think, and so I thought it would be very fun. We obviously work on the Middle East, and we know a lot of these things. He was a student of Bernard Lewis. The candidates who will participate have read him for the tournament. So I thought it would be very fun to actually hear him ask the questions. I saw the questions and they're actually pretty difficult. And so it would be unfair for me to say that I'll be a judge. I'm very curious to see how far they will go in answering the questions.
What was Vladimir Jabotinsky's greatest contribution to World War I?
C.
C. The answer is correct.
Yes.
Finally, a question on Jabotinsky.
Oh no.
Okay, Shiv. What did Sadat declare he was willing to do for the sake of peace in October 1977?
B.
B. The answer is incorrect. The correct answer is D. Visit Israel to speak before the Knesset. Okay, now, Patrick. Which of the following did Hamas reject in its founding covenant of August 1988?
D.
D. The answer is correct. Now to you, Shiv. Which of the following provisions is not found in the Israeli Declaration of Independence?
D.
D. The answer is incorrect. The correct answer is A. Acceptance of the territorial provisions of the 1947 United Nations Partition Resolution.
Patrick, you ready? Which Arab state effectively sided with Iraq during the Persian Gulf War?
B.
B as in boy, that is incorrect. I'm afraid it was C, Jordan. Shiv, in the second half of the 18th century, what led many Arab provinces to rebel against Ottoman rule?
A.
A is correct.
Patrick, how did Timur Tamerlan impact the political landscape of the Middle East and Central Asia?
C.
C. The answer is correct.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Okay, Shiv. Before the Holy of Holies was preached by Roman soldiers during its destruction in 70 Common Era, who was the most recent foreigner to enter the Holy of Holies?
A.
I think it is incorrect. The correct answer is Pompey. Annabelle. How many Jews died in the temple as it burned in 70 CE?
B.
B, it is incorrect. The correct answer is A. Shiv. Two of the most famous prophets, Isaiah and Jeremiah, offered political counsel to their respective kings reigning in their day, whether to resist or submit to the foreign invader. Isaiah recommended, and Jeremiah recommended.
B.
B, it is correct. Annabelle. In which city did Mattathias and his 5 sons launch the Hasmonean revolt?
D.
D, it is correct. Shiv, what incited the Canine pogrom of Jerusalem in the early 18th century?
D.
D, it is incorrect. The correct answer is A. A dog wandered into the Temple Mount. Annabelle, what led to the destructive fire of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre?
A.
A, it is correct. Okay, Shiv, what was the purpose of the London Jews Society?
B.
B, it is incorrect. Correct answer is D, to convert Jews to Christianity.
Annabelle, congratulations.
Thank you. Patrick, which of the following is the chronologically accurate order of the Hashemite kings of Iraq from 1921 to 1958?
A.
Correct.
Good answer.
And which of the following statements about Mormon founder Joseph Smith Jr. and Jerusalem is correct?
B.
B, it is incorrect. The correct answer is C. Patrick, what did British Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli pledge as security when he borrowed funds to purchase the Suez Canal chairs?
C.
C, it is correct. Ian, why did the 1869 founders of a village outside the Jaffa Gate name it Nahalat Shiva, Estate of the Seven?
C.
C, it is incorrect. The correct answer is A. Patrick, who yelled the immortal phrase, "The Temple Mount is in our hands"?
C.
C, it is correct. And which family has traditionally served as the muezzins at the Al-Aqsa Mosque for centuries?
D.
D, it is correct. Patrick, which of the following does the Hebrew Bible hail explicitly as Messiah?
D.
D, it is correct. Ian, in the Jewish state, What does Herzl propose as a system of government?
A.
A, it is incorrect. The correct answer is B, aristocratic republic.
Patrick, are you ready for the Ottomans? The Treaty of Tilsit, 1807, signed between Napoleon and the Ottoman Empire, had which of the following effects?
B.
B. Correct. Very good. Ian, what major strategic alliance did Orhan forge through his second marriage, and how did it affect Ottoman expansion?
B.
B. Correct. That was excellent. I had no idea what the answer to that is, and I know everything about the Ottomans. What major event, Patrick, are you with us? What major event in Mongol-Ottoman relations helped enable Ottoman expansion in the 14th century?
A.
Correct. You guys are acing this. Amazing. Okay, Ian, what was the primary role of the ulema in the early Ottoman Empire?
C.
C is correct. You guys are acing this. Fantastic. Patrick, how did Ottoman sultans traditionally demonstrate their commitment to the pilgrimage cities during the annual Hajj season?
B.
B. Correct. Correct. Ian, the start of Sultan Bayezid I's reign was characterized by his father's, that's Sultan Murad I, by his father's recent victories in which two locations?
A.
Correct. You guys are awesome. Seriously. Patrick, how did dervishes contribute to the expansion and cultural development of the Ottoman Empire during its early years?
B.
He is correct. Fantastic. Ian, what is the primary strategic significance of the Ottoman capture of the Genoese fortresses of Kefe and Azak in the Crimea in 1475?
A.
A is correct. Again, seriously, you guys are so strong on this one. Patrick, you ready? What was the primary cause of the prolonged conflict between the Safavid dynasty and the Ottoman Empire during the 16th and 17th centuries?
B.
B, yes, correct. Okay, fantastic. Ian, what ideological basis of the Wahhabi movement led to conflict with the Ottoman Empire?
B.
B is correct. Fantastic. Ian, 15th century Ottoman government records suggest which of the following fundamental social distinctions?
A.
A, Muslims and non-Muslims? Incorrect. B is the correct answer. All right. Wow. What a great showing by the two of you. Seriously.